Yo, welcome to another episode of Fun with Dumb. We're in the first month of 2020.
We're in the second month now.
Second month. And, I'm just, I like to catch up with some old friends and, hit them up and see what they're up to. And this is one of my oldest friends in LA. I'm from here, so yeah. But one of my favorite friends as well, Open Mike Eagle.
What up, dude? Hey, who else you talk to? You been talking to other homies?
Satire I've seen recently.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Verbs in a while, but in general, like I just haven't,
forever. I used to see Verbs like every week. I felt like somewhere. I ain't seen Verbs.
Where did you see Verbs every week?
Well, I was living in Culver City.
Oh, okay.
So I'd run into him one place or another, either that or somewhere out. You know? But I guess I don't really go out no more. Like, and then when I do go out, it's usually like comedy shows and shit like that. So
to play or watch or
usually to play. I haven't gone out just to kick it in forever, like just to hang out.
I mean, you got the whole family thing, and most of us in our old crew, we don't have a family yet. Yeah. I think you're the only one with kids, right?
Damn, huh? That's kind of wild.
So we have a crew. We had a crew of 8 members, and and we're all in the age. I guess we could be having kids.
I mean, you figure one of y'all would have had a kid by accident at this point.
Probably would have been sad or some shit.
I mean,
Lyra's getting married, or he did get married.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then other than that, I don't think anyone else is married.
Yeah, no. I'm most surprised about the kid thing.
The kid, yeah.
That nobody else has babies.
Yeah.
That's
Blodians
really
have kids.
Blodians usually have kids. Orphans all over. You know what I mean? Like lots of babies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm not in that mode, I guess. Having kids.
Yeah, well, I don't think the old OGs were either. They just, you know what I mean. They just didn't pull out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's wild. That's wild to me. But you have a son that's getting a lot older now.
Yeah, he's fucking 11, man.
He's 11. He's stylish. He has his own tastes in music.
He likes hardcore rap, man.
And right after this podcast, you're picking him up from school.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys get along really well?
Yeah, that's my guy, man.
Yeah,
that's my guy. There's a lot we don't agree on, like you said, in terms of taste.
That's
we
funny.
Get along great.
That's funny because you have a very specific taste.
Mm-hmm.
I could see y'all just having a podcast where you guys argue all day about music.
Easily. I really want to do something like that with him. I can tell he wouldn't commit to it because he wouldn't. It would be hard for him to see the value to the outside world.
Right.
To him, it just
that's a great concept.
Dad, like,
you
why
and
you
your
playing
11
this bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, I don't like this shit. Like, why are you? He really. It's funny because we do this thing where, when we ride to school, pick him up from school, whatever, like we do this thing where we take turns playing songs off Spotify. And like every time he plays a song, he's like listening intently, he's looking at my reaction. He's like, what'd you think of that? And he's like, what do you rate it out of 10? And like give him my answer, whatever. And I start to play my shit. He's just talking over it, like,
oh my gosh,
like freestyling over it.
How
like
you feel?
He don't listen. He just does not listen.
Does that hurt you a little bit?
Not really, because I get it. Like I know it's not that, and I'm not talking about like my personal music I made. I'm talking about like me playing artists. That
I see. Okay. Yeah. I thought you meant like rap it on your shit.
No.
You'd be like, yo, hold on, listen to this bar real quick right here.
No, he don't really. It's really funny. Because he's very in tune with like people's numbers on Spotify. He's very in tune.
Really?
With that. Like he's really like at the point now where most rap artists that you can think of, he can tell you off the top of his head how many monthly listeners they have on Spotify. And so that means he knows how many monthly listeners I have on Spotify.
That's it's funny because I'm intrigued by those monthly numbers too. Like I go and like check out different artists' monthly numbers. Yeah. So he's into that too.
Yeah, he's
analytics.
Yeah, the obvious metrics of like monthly listeners of the how many plays an artist most popular song has, how many views they get on YouTube. Right. He's very in tune with that.
Right. I mean, that curiosity is kind of cool. I wonder if all young kids are kind of on that now, because it is a likes kind of society.
And each piece of content kind of comes with that badge of like how many other people have messed with this. And I don't know if it's all kids, but he's definitely wired that way.
Right.
And it really informs to him like what's popping.
Does he listen to podcasts?
He hates podcasts.
Okay,
Hates
I'm curious about like what's the youth demographic on listening to podcasts.
He doesn't really see the value in people having conversations. He doesn't in the way that, like, to me a podcast is very informative. Either I'm learning something or I'm getting an insight into somebody who I think is interesting. Like,
Right.
I love listening to podcasts. I love listening to, like, those kinds of like YouTube video essays, and I don't even watch. I just have it on, like I'm in a car and just hear people talking about something. Like, I love that sort of thing. He fucking hates that shit.
Right. I don't know. I've always felt like, listening to podcasts or even NPR, like just in a car, kind of stimulates me a little bit more. It's like a coffee or something, like kind of wakes me up
It's
a little bit.
interesting,
Yeah, but I guess, he has his own thing going on.
The other thing is, when you're in the music industry, I think it kind of ruins music for you a little bit too. Like, I like, for me personally, I can't. I'd much rather listen to a podcast or listen to a video essay or listen to something other than music, because music is very political in my head. So like, when I hear a song, it's hard for me to just enjoy it. Like, I end up thinking about all the factors that go into how it got made and why and how I'm hearing it and this artist's story and who they work with and all of this other shit that's like.
So you end up in your head doing more like, psh, like.
Well, I mean, it depends. It depends. Like, either I'm trying to figure out the machine or I'm trying to, like, but like, it's very far from being able to just like, oh, this is tight.
Yeah. I think we're like really critical in that way, because I also, now when I listen to something like an artist who's popping and I might not get it yet, I like try to get it. I like try to figure out why.
I just now figured out Young Thug. I just got it. Like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, like 2.
So you never liked Thug?
Never liked
him. Really?
Never liked him.
You didn't like his melodical sense? Like,
I didn't see it. To me, it always seemed like chaotic and over the top, and it didn't make it. To me, it wasn't musical in the way that I would listen to musical rappers. To me, it felt like I didn't understand his value system and how he was coming with his. I just didn't get it.
That's interesting. But what did you get in the 2 weeks ago?
You know what song it was, dude?
What?
That fucking that Lil Yachty song, Minnesota.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is like fucking 4 years old or some shit now. But I started really liking that song, and there was part of Young Thug's verse on there. I was like, oh, like I see like how he's going for it melodically, but like real street. Like it's real. I found what was interesting about it, but it took 10 years. It took me 10 years to figure out the fucking appeal.
You're like,
oh
yeah. I could just imagine you sitting there. That's interesting. I mean, he always connected with me from the jump. Like, I at least got it.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
I didn't get it. It used to be like confusing to me, like the way people would talk about, like, what are these people hearing? I don't hear it, But I finally heard it on Lil Yachty song.
What's your? Have you just been constantly making music? Have you been dabbling in other areas now, or what's the balance of your music ratio to other things right now?
Well, right now I ain't got shit else popping in TV. Like, all of my shit is canceled, or
the New Negro show.
Yeah, like, it's not renewed. The other WZRD show I had is not renewed, and I got like other shit
You're developing and stuff. Yeah.
But that's always this back and forth of emails and documents and pitches.
It's a lot of hurry up and wait.
And I can't, I got to eat now.
Yeah.
I got to eat now.
And then the rap stuff, the rap shows are like the eat now gigs.
Yeah, and honestly, Hollywood has been like kind of a mind fuck for me in some ways, just in terms of.
I've seen you tweet like mad shit about Hollywood.
It's really like
Hollywood is evil.
It's not. I don't think it's evil. I just think it's like, it's a big dumb machine that, like, the people who decide what's what, like, they, as creatives, they want your sweet blood. You know what I mean? That's what they want. Like that, and more than ever, like, because that's what cuts through, is like people like strong visions from creatives.
Right.
But the shit that a strong vision has to go through between like the creative process and actually getting to people with
For
TV,
sure.
that shit is disgusting.
Because
Like,
there's a lot of also they want to see big names attached to stuff,
of course,
which is kind of annoying because you go in with such a great idea
Mm-hmm.
or something already written, ready to go, and they're not willing to take a chance on like a brave new voice, right? And but I mean, that's why I thought it was pretty cool that they did that with you. You know, with New Negroes.
But we had big names, not attached, but the potential for big names in terms of the stand-ups. And
and you guys were doing that with the show, like the live show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that we came in with, we'll definitely have Kevin Hart, we'll definitely have Hannibal, but those people were all in
They knew there was a good
universe.
chance.
Exactly. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'm learning about this process. I spent a good year on this last year too.
And the other thing was that we did have big names behind the scenes attached to it. So we had like Funny or Die as a production company. And Funny, you can walk.
That's true.
You can pitch anything in this town with them. Like, and we had Lance Bangs as a director who's done fucking everything. So like those. So we didn't have like big name talent.
Yeah.
We had a big name production company and like a well respected director, and like that really helped us out a lot too.
I feel like we're lucky though because we have this other stuff too. Like we can do live shows, you know, for the quick. 'Cause there's a lot of people who just that's the only thing they can do. Just develop and hope things.
I was talking to you know Dan Harmon.
Yeah.
I was talking to him yesterday, and because asking him some of the same shit, because like I'm really in some ways just recovering from last year. Like you have all of this potential and this hope, and you work really hard, and like really that shit didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? Like it didn't really like it didn't improve the quality of my life in any way after it kind of came and went, you know. So I feel like I'm did all that, and I'm like kind of right where I started. You know what I mean? Except for like having done it, which is good, but just in terms of like I don't like I'm back with nothing.
Yeah.
Basically.
No, I feel
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And back to like the same place I was with pitching and developing, and it's a little easier because there's a track record and there's some proof of concept.
Is it? I was going to ask you that. Is
a little
it?
bit.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, but it's everybody around me, everybody on my team, you know what I mean, thought that like, oh, clearly this is going to be a giant hit.
Like a momentum thing. Like this is going to lead to the next thing and the next thing.
It didn't. None of that. And then so we didn't make any moves, and then like literally back at square.
But you're not like discouraged, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, that's the honesty right there.
Yeah.
I am a little bit discouraged.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, like even when I thought we were getting a second season of New Negroes, because those were talks that were happening over the summer. The philosophy I was going into those talks with personally was like, how do I do this again but give less of myself? Because it really like the process of making it and then the result at the end, it really like it didn't seem worth it.
You know, dude, I feel you because I haven't even got to that point where any of my shit has made it on the air, you know, and I just think about that point where we shoot a pilot and it never sees the light of day and the project is deaded right there, right? I would be devastated.
Yeah, gee, that shit sucks.
You know, and especially like a lot of the first projects we work on are very personal and autobiographical. Say that
no, we just made it autobiographical. That's the new way to say it.
I can't even correct myself correctly right now. Like if I had to say that again, it would be incorrect again.
That was stylish though.
Whatever, dude. Oh god, damn, that was so embarrassing. Fuck.
Don't edit it out. Leave it in. Leave it in.
This episode of Fun with Dumb is brought to you by BetterHelp. Is there something out there that's interfering with your happiness? Well, BetterHelp Online Counseling is here for you. I know in the Asian community, therapy is very taboo. We didn't have that really growing up. We kind of had this like get over it mentality, and there's a lot of built up trauma in our community. So even for me, therapy was something I was scared of, but I've used their service here, and they connect you with professional counselors in a very safe and private online environment. You can get help on your own time, at your own pace. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions, and you can even do this through chat and text with your therapist. We got licensed professional counselors that specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, self-esteem.
And anything you share is completely confidential. They have 3,000 U.S. licensed therapists all across 50 states. I think this is a great service for anybody who might be nervous about therapy. And if there's financial aid that's available for those who qualified, super affordable. And best of all, right now, for all my listeners, you get 10% off of your first month with the discount code FUNWITHDUMB. So all my Fun with Dumb listeners get 10% off your first month with discount code FUNWITHDUMB. That's no spaces. So go to betterhelp.com/funwithdumb to get that 10% off. You fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get they match you up with the counselors that you'll love. That's betterhelp.com/funwithdumb to get that 10% off. Trust me, do this for yourself. 2020, health is wealth. Take care of your well-being, man.
But real talk, like it would be devastating in my head, because today's episode that I just dropped was Jessica Gao, who worked with Dan Harmon on the Pickle Rick episode.
Okay.
Yeah, she was the writer for that, won an Emmy for it and everything.
Wow, that's amazing.
And she had a show on ABC, and it was announced that it was like a personal project to her. It was her passion project because she's written on so many shows. And they shot a pilot and never made it to series, and I know she was like super devastated about that because it's a project that's like a character based on her and everything. Right. So it's like your life story gets canceled.
It's hard. This is what I was talking to Dan about, because it's so hard, especially when you're new to this, and especially coming from where we come from, where like our work has been valued.
Yeah.
It's so hard not to internalize that rejection as like a testament. It must mean that my life story doesn't have any value. You know what I mean? And even though that doesn't make any logical sense,
right.
It's hard not to feel that when you put your heart into something and they tell you no.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like your story isn't interesting enough for people who are gonna watch your life. That's
a tough thing to tell somebody.
It is, right?
And the big dumb machine tells people that shit every day, and sometimes the big dumb machine is wrong.
Yeah.
But there's like no balance, or there's no there's no accountability, I guess. And it's just whatever their whims are, whatever like the mandates are from upstairs.
Yeah, and the truth is, it's not always right. People doubt certain stories and it turns out to be a hit, right? And it's confusing too, because you go into production companies and you sit down and those people are like, this is a show. Yeah. This is a great story. Like, you have an interesting life, and you go climb up the ladder and you're like, more and more people are like, nah, it's not that tight. It's not that tight,
It's interesting. Yeah, I guess as you climb up the ladder, you get more in tune with the people who write the checks, and those people are looking for reasons to say no.
And that's what it feels like, because when I first got into the game, I was like, actually, no, there's some people that are cool and really are willing to take chances. And then you understand like what that Hollywood machine was, that people have been telling you about as you get higher up. You're like, damn, okay, this is the real Hollywood shit.
Yeah, I mean, because I always felt like every exec I ever worked with, and that's with VRV, Comedy Central, like all the execs were great, but they all had to report up to vice presidents and shit.
Right.
And those people, I never got a sense of them as actual human beings. And I don't feel like they ever got a sense of me as actual human beings. You know what I mean? And like, so for them, saying yes or no is just like a lever that goes up or down. Right. And they don't realize like, oh, that was like all I had. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay. Like it's an easy decision for them to make because they're just looking at numbers. They're looking at reports.
I've noticed that.
Ratings,
I've noticed it's like you'll tell them what the show's about. Like, they'll be like, yeah, but what's that? What's like who's attached to it?
Right.
Or what's the like they're just kind of like, okay, yeah, yada yada yada. I heard your pitch. Now who's attached to this? And it's like, God damn, that's really what it takes.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's discouraged you in this process, and
I mean, I won't say completely discouraged, but I have had to deal with those sorts of feelings because, like, you can get said no to a lot of different ways.
Yeah,
and you can get said no to at a lot of different steps in the process, and like, I haven't developed the armor yet to not let that affect me. That's what I was talking
like taking it personal.
That's what I was talking to Dan about, because he's he did this and he did it and did it and did it, and he failed and failed and failed, and you know he made Community, and then you know,
Yeah.
and then you know he made Rick and Morty, and he's fucking rich.
Right,
You know
right,
what I mean?
right,
He's
right.
fucking rich.
Yeah.
Like, and I was really interested in his process of how he
Takes
maneuvers,
rejection.
how he maneuvers through
Yeah.
it all. And for him, it was just a lot of like, he told me something really interesting. He was saying that like for him, because like he identifies as a writer primarily,
Right.
that for him, what he had to learn to do was like only focus on delivering the written thing, like, and then once he delivers it, just to completely
Oh, check
disconnect
out.
from the process after that. Like, just
Right.
only focus on the job
Yeah.
and delivering it, and then not thinking about it anymore. And
Right.
then on to the next thing. Like, he had to do that, and he says it's like somewhat like he thinks it's a little toxic in terms of a way to go about it. But that's what he ended up.
That's
having
great
to do.
though. I get that.
Yeah.
I that's a great way to do it. I mean, not everyone can do that because people like the waiting of it, like, and being
People,
hopeful, like it's gonna sell here. You know,
Man, I don't ever want to fuck with hope again. I
Yeah.
don't ever want to fuck with hope in that space, because I think the real dangerous part of it is that there's no transparency. Like,
Right.
you can have people interested and people like really down, and then they'll just fucking disappear.
Right.
And then maybe your agents find some crumb of an answer 2 weeks after the fact, but they've already moved on, and they've not told any of you all why.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, the thing about this industry that's toxic is because all these little announcements on Variety and Deadline make you feel like you've already fucking made the show.
Yeah, man.
You know, and you see all these announcements like, oh, blah blah.
You got a deadline announcement? Yeah.
It's about to come out or whatever, but it's like that doesn't mean shit.
No,
like,
but it
you
feels
know?
good.
It feels good.
The deadline, the
Yeah.
deadline screenshot
Yeah,
is
of course.
super fucking
Everyone
satisfying.
flexes the
to
Deadline
us.
and Variety shit, and then
It's-
you get the shitload of congrats
Yeah,
comments
dude.
like, "Oh man, I know this guy. He's straight out of the bloat," and he, and now, but then but you know the process
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
and it's like you see that. And it gets my hopes up, but I've noticed that there's all these shows because there's been that big Asian boom in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
All these Asian cats, you know, with their Variety and Deadline announcements, and then I remember these announcements from the past year or two. And I'm like, what's going on with the projects?
Right.
They haven't seen the light of day. Some got deaded,
Right.
Because
they ain't-
they're in
and it-
development forever.
And they ain't no deadline announcement for when shit is dead. You know what I mean? They don't do that.
Yo, they need to do that.
You know, like a real deadline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like blah 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 show's not gonna make it on TV. Like,
right.
sorry to get your hopes up.
Oh, there's no follow up with that because Deadline runs off of press releases,
Yeah.
and networks don't send press releases for shit that they pass on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, there's no reporting on that side.
That's a shitty feeling for the creators of the projects, though, because you got to deal with the aftermath of people asking you about the fucking show they heard about.
Yeah.
Like, whatever happened to the...
Yeah.
It's like somebody going up to you like, you still rap?
Yeah.
Like how shitty is that
Oh,
question, right?
man.
And it's like people mean well.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they're just trying to hurt your feelings, but it hurts when you're like, I just put an album out last week. You're clearly not checking for it.
Well, you know,
It's just part of the game.
it is because I don't expect anybody in my life to listen to my music no more. You know what I mean? Like not like in my
Right.
personal life. Like I think it's like I have fans, and like those people are who I service music to.
I get
you know what I mean? And like, but I don't consider people in my friend circle
Yeah.
fans. Like if they hear it and they're like, oh, that's great.
No,
But,
100%.
you know,
I think the big thing that fucks me up is that a lot of people not understanding the kind of concept of the lifestyles we live with our career. And I know I shouldn't expect it, but it just kind of pisses me off because I always have to explain like what
what
I
do you have
do.
to explain to people?
Just kind of like, you know, like I guess I don't have to, but like they, you know, when they approach me and make me feel like shit, I have to go in like I am doing stuff. I'm doing this, and this is how my business works. This is like a small operated business, you know, and that's the frustrating thing. And I've kind of always had to do it with my parents a little bit because it's hard to explain. Like,
yeah, I gave up on explaining to my parents how any of this shit works. I absolutely gave up on it.
I mean, they don't care as long as you're taking care of your family and all that shit,
exactly.
right? Like,
they're cool, and you know, I think with my dad for a long time there was a lot of resistance to like my son is a rapper. You know what I mean? I think like there was just a lot of like cultural kind of like I think he thought lesser than of that as a career path, but you know, you tell your dad one too many times that you're going on a European tour, and he's like, congrats. You know what I mean? After a while, he kind of gets it. Like,
let me ask you this, because this is actually an interesting topic of like a black parent's perspective of maybe like their son wanting to be a rapper, because there's a lot of black rappers, obviously, right? Sure. So do they think like it's a feasible like, you know, like career or what? I'm trying to compare the Asian experience of like the art shit.
I think like I grew up, even though I was like working class, I grew up with like middle class kind of values, right? And I feel like, and plus I was kind of like a smart kid and shit. Like I did good in school when I was trying. Like, I think people had it in their minds that I was gonna go do something traditionally great. You know?
I see.
So like, and they spoke of me that way to other people. Like, he gets good grades. He just graduated college. He's starting grad school. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? And then at the end of that, to be like, oh, he's rapping now. I think that's just weird for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, you know, for my dad, that's just a little weird.
And you weren't like, you weren't presenting yourself as like a teen, as like the traditional rapper that you saw on the TV that was like mad jiggy and shit.
And I remember having to really explain that to my dad at one point, that like I do something different than that.
Right.
You know, he used to, for a long time, he used to tell people I did spoken word.
Right.
Because that's all he could wrap his head around.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, close. You were kind of closer. In his head, you were closer to that side.
Because then he wouldn't have to say rapper, too. You know what I mean? I think that was really what it was really about, is that he didn't want to tell his other, 60-year-old friends that his son was a rapper.
Do you think it's because like there was like a lot of rappers, like it's like lot of sons that were rappers in like the black community, or what is in that field, or what? Like, what is it perceived as? You know, like
it's just perceived as like
it's not perceived negatively necessarily, right?
I think there is that.
There is a little bit of that.
I think it's that same thing about like when you travel and you're in an airport, you still drink. Yeah. So like you're at an airport bar.
Yeah.
And you strike up a conversation with the person next to you, and they ask you what you do. What do you say?
I try to avoid rap.
Exactly.
I always
that thing right there.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that makes him not want to tell people I'm a rapper.
No, but I don't think it's the same thing, because I try not to do it because I don't want to extend the conversation. Like, if you work retail, like, it ends right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, one other question is like, oh, where do you work at? In the Zara's, and that's it. It ends right there. The rapper shit is like, it could go on.
It does, but I guess I'll say that I try to avoid saying it, because when you tell somebody that's what you do, it kind of, you have to deal with their expectations of what they think about that as a line of work, especially if you're somebody they haven't heard of.
Right.
Because, I think there's a lot of people that don't understand that you can be a working, successful rapper, but not be a household name.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people really understand that.
Right.
And so there's also this thought, like, what are you, like a bum? Like, what, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what do you mean you're a rapper?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah, that could get kind of tricky into, like the whole, like, where do you where can I look up your stuff? And then it gets judgy a little bit.
Right. Like, and I've had that happen where, like, I've told people what I do, and they're like, yeah, right. And then, like, they actually
do they think you're like delusional almost?
Right. And then they look me up while I'm sitting next to them, like, oh, you know what I mean?
Right,
like, because even though like my numbers on social media or whatever, they're not astronomical, but they're like
like
solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they see that and like, oh, you're really doing it. Like you're really formed a career off of this. But most people, you tell them a rapper, they think you're just a delusional guy. Like I'm a rapper.
Oh yeah, you sleep in your mom's basement. Like what? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
I didn't think about that. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I get that too with my parents. I mean, it's the same experience, I guess, telling them, and then they compare me now more to like other successful Korean rappers, though.
Right, because now they have that. There's a big huge cultural reference to be made now about okay. So who do they reference?
There's a lot, and this is the worst part. It's not just rappers in Korea. There's a lot of successful Korean American guys that went there and blew up. So they compare me to even a smaller genre of Korean Americans, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you were hanging out with this guy or that guy," and it's weird. It's just there's a lot more. There was a time where I was like one of 5 motherfuckers, and I missed that time very much. That time was a good time. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's cool. I think they kind of acknowledge that I'm more like in the OG side of that world.
Wow, you fucking OG.
We're both pretty OG now.
Well, I mean, I just, to me, that's interesting because you were there at the beginning of that, and it doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean.
We saw just seeing Hollywood now with the Asian boom, that's a whole nother fucking thing. You know, I did not imagine us being here just like all of a sudden Crazy Rich Asians, like a movie, and then that was with the floodgates fucking open. You know, it's weird. It's fucking weird. There was a time, like Far East Movement was like the only group on TV and radio, and Gangnam Style came in, and that was like a weird time.
Yeah, that was strange.
That was a strange time.
Strange,
and now it's like fully in. But
I mean, now like Korean pop culture influence is just like it's insane.
Well, we're talking about Parasite too, like that movie,
right.
And I'm glad that kind of came in because the K-pop part was like kind of taking over everything.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing on earth. Right?
Yeah, and I was like, can we get like one artsy thing? Like, I mean, not that K-pop's not artsy.
No, but I know what you mean. Like, just so it's not all
just this one.
Yeah,
you know,
and it doesn't become
bubblegummy
like
kind of thing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of a blessing. This whole Parasite wave going through this award thing, and people really enjoying this kind of foreign film and putting it up there as like a best picture talk. You know. That's tight. Did you see Parasite?
I haven't yet.
Oh, you gotta watch it, bro. It's great. It's really
a horror movie, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, good.
You gotta watch it.
It's
like and you're gonna love it going into it, not knowing what it's about. It's fantastic. Have you been watching movies or what?
On airplanes.
Yeah. What did you watch last?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Did you like it?
I don't know if I loved it, but I thought it was really fucking interesting.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did see it. The way it kind of drags and stuff, it is interesting. I always kind of try to think like what they're trying to accomplish with these scenes where it's not traditionally just like keeps you like on the edge of the seat necessarily, and things just drag on hella long. It's kind of artistic how they do that.
Well, I thought with Tarantino, what he was trying to do was like make these really specific kind of character moments that subvert your expectations of what you think of like these archetypes. Like you had Brad Pitt as this cool guy, and he kept getting put in these situations where he would do something to subvert your expectations. You know what I mean? Like you thought Bruce Lee was going to beat the shit out of him, and he should have, and then he won. This is weird. Like, so I think Tarantino's whole thing was just about like unsettling people, and how he switched up the ending was about kind of like his version of rewriting history. Yeah, you know what I mean. Which I thought all of this shit was fucking fascinating. I just saw Uncut Gems too.
What'd you think about that?
I really liked it a lot.
You liked it, or you did?
Liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too.
A whole lot. Like I really liked that movie. Yeah. Like now you talk about edge of your seat. Like you're the entire time.
I drank fucking coffee before I went in there. Oh my god!
Don't do it! Don't do it!
That shit was.
Oh, man.
It's so funny because I know some like sports gambling homies that bad too. Like maybe not that bad, but yeah, that shit was wild.
Have you ever felt a release of tension like what happens at the end of that movie?
Oh, that shit was wild.
Never felt such like.
Did you expect it?
No,
I didn't expect it either.
Hell no.
I didn't expect it.
It was like the first thing happens. It's like, oh, okay, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah. How did you
Like,
feel about it though? Like I don't want to ruin it, but I guess we kind of are.
I mean, I don't know if we have to ruin it,
Yeah.
but how did I feel about
Just did it feel? You said you felt the release of tension.
I did,
Yeah.
because I felt like the whole movie was like that main character just fucking himself over more and
Yeah.
more at every possible turn, and but you're like rooting for him, but he keeps doing the fucked up thing. But
Right.
you keep rooting for him, and he keeps fucking it up, and it's like he's gotten himself to like he had gotten it all in hand and
Yeah.
then fucked it up again.
Yeah.
And like at this point you're like, why? And then the way that they chose to release the tension, it in a lot of ways to me it made so much sense, even though I didn't expect it.
Yeah, and I feel like they kind of freed him of his own misery almost.
Yeah, man.
That's kind of what it felt like, right?
Yeah,
like
man.
it was terrible, it was tragic, but you almost freed him from his own fucking misery. Like,
And what really made sense to me about it was that the guy who made that decision in the movie, the character who made that decision
yeah.
that was tragic, all throughout the movie he kept telling him, stop. You know what I mean? Like he kept telling him, like,
That's
dude,
true. Yeah,
you know what I
like,
mean?
chill.
Remember he like threw him in the water and shit
Yeah.
earlier? He was like really trying to get dude's attention, like, yo.
But you know what was tight about that dude too? Like when he was stuck between a glass, like he was hot.
Ooh, that motherfucker was seething.
Something about, and it was like you still didn't expect him to do that, but he was too calm right
Yeah,
there. He was a
yeah.
little too calm. You know what I'm saying? Like
That shit was wild. You should add a spoiler thing in here probably, because
who gives a
we
fuck?
just
At
low
this
key
point-
we just soft spoiled it. We soft spoiled
whatever, dude. At this point, you should have watched the shit, dude.
it. Yeah, I
Like,
guess I don't know. I'm usually slow to watch movies. I just happened to watch that, and like I watched like Star Wars. I just happened to have like a couple of opportunities to watch newer movies. Usually I don't watch a movie till I'm on an airplane, so
Right.
it's like months later. You know
I wonder
what
if people take those spoiler alert, like when they put up. The
I do.
spoiler, you just stop. You stop the video.
I mean, if it's something I'm actually trying to,
Yeah.
I'll turn the volume down real fast. Or
Oh,
like, you know,
shit.
yeah, because I hate getting shit spoiled for me. I hate
Yeah.
it. Because like even with the conversation we just had, what that would do to me is I would suddenly have an expectation of something dramatic to happen,
100%.
which to me is like already halfway towards fucking it
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean?
yeah, I guess yeah.
I mean, but that's
Spoilers are
me.
pretty
That's
terrible,
me.
you're right.
Like, I mean, it's different people. Some people don't give a fuck at all. Like, I know
Right.
some people who are just like, tell me the whole thing. I'll
But
enjoy it.
movies
regardless.
are clearly they are more enjoyable when you go in with no
Blind.
knowledge of it.
Yeah.
They are.
Did you see Us?
You know what? I did not see Us
Okay.
yet, and that's the one that I'm like, I can't believe I haven't watched that yet because it's everyone's-
Great airplane movie.
Okay,
Fantastic airplane movie.
you liked it a lot.
I'll say this.
Like
I
post Get Out.
I
you know?
enjoyed it,
Yeah.
but I understood why a lot of people didn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but I enjoyed
That's
it
great.
at the time.
No spoilers there.
Nah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot that happens in it that could be spoiled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a ton of shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's really that's a wild ass movie. That's
Yeah.
a wild, like it's a bold ass.
Have you
movie.
met Jordan Peele?
No, we were mutuals on Twitter though, so you
Oh,
know,
okay.
we've shared a couple DMs.
I
but
feel like
that's about
I
it.
feel like you guys could probably do some dope.
I don't know how to
shit.
talk to people, man. I don't know how to talk to people because I don't know who knows who I am, and I hate like
Well, it's weird though because I feel like you meet a lot of people.
I do, but I don't know what it like when somebody follows me on Twitter. I don't all the way know what it means. You know what I mean?
Like you're like, why did he follow me?
Yeah, like and so like there's huge people
Right.
in my world who follow me on Twitter but won't answer a DM, and I'm like, this is weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't, you know, like you did this, like
Yeah.
and I'm like, so why? And
Right.
and I've had that happen enough where I'm just like, you know, like I don't know what stuff means, like so I don't, and I don't want to I don't know, I just don't want to come off like
I've had a
thirsty
weird.
or needy or whatever.
I've had a weird opposite situation where there's one day it's like really hot girl on Instagram. I just took a chance. Like she has a shitload of followers and hit her up on the DM like, hey, like
and y'all were following each other already?
I I followed her and she followed me back.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know, I was like, damn, she's hot. And I noticed like she had just moved to LA. So I hit her up on DM. I was like, probably drunk or something. I was like, yo, you want to grab a drink? You know, sometime. And she's like, sure. Yeah, send me your number. And I just sent my number, and then she texted me like, hi, it's Baba from Instagram. I'm like, hey, yeah, let's grab a drink, blah blah blah. And no answer. And no answer. I'm
so
like,
strange.
I don't get that.
See, I get real twisted about shit like that, and I don't, you know.
Well, it
so
fucks you up because
it does.
now you look, and I'm like following up, like, hey, next thing you know, there's 4 texts from me.
And you read all of them and shit.
Well,
like,
it doesn't show the red,
okay,
but
good.
it's still like you're the one who,
Yeah.
you know, like
Oh, that's strange.
she didn't have to text me. Like I gave her the number, so I'm like, you text me if you want, you know.
Right.
And then she did, and then I'm like, yeah, let's grab a drink. And then I'm like, oh, no response. The next day, I'm like, hey, let's you still want to grab that drink? And then I look like the weirdo.
That sucks, man. See,
Yeah.
I don't know how to deal with shit like that.
I mean, so you have like big cats follow you, and
Some, yeah.
and then you're saying they don't respond to you.
Some like Jordan did. The last time he didn't know, and I was like, I haven't tried again since.
Was it to like like what do you hit him up with, like
The first time, see, he followed me because this was right when Get Out came out. I posted something about like most of my music coming from a sunken place, and he like, I don't know who, somebody he followed must have retweeted it,
Right.
and then he quote tweeted it and said, oh, it sounds like a dope music video I did, and he followed me, and then like, so, you know, we just had a couple DMs kind of about Get Out, and like, you know,
That's cool.
it was cool,
Yeah.
right? So then I think a little while later, it was after what was the movie Boots Riley did?
Sorry
After Sorry to Bother You.
Sorry to
came
Bother
out,
You, yeah.
And Jordan was supporting that a lot,
Yeah.
on his feed, and I DM'd him like, you know, telling him like how dope I thought it was, and he was like really trying to make this like a movement, like a moment with all of these black creators, and he didn't say nothing to that, and I was like, okay, I'll be over here.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any ambitions? I mean, to make a feature or?
I wrote a treatment with a guy it was a Black Lives Matter comedy.
Oh wow, Black Lives Matter comedy. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it was really funny, but I don't like. It's not the foot I'd want to lead with. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No, I feel that.
you know.
Okay, I gotta ask you off. Yeah, the pod. About it. Let's talk about this tour that's coming up. You're about to hit the road
This
with Brother
Friday,
Ali.
dude. Yeah, this Friday we take off. We're gonna fucking start in Bozeman, Montana.
Bozeman,
goddammit.
I've done the show
I've
there.
never played Montana. It's my first time playing Montana.
Yeah.
I'm knocking one of like the few like states I haven't played in off of my list.
Is this
you
like
know?
a 30+ city tour?
It's like 30 altogether.
This
yeah.
is a great one. You and Brother Ali. Is there anybody else on it?
On video, Dave's gonna be with me.
Sick.
And then his DJ Last Word. That's it.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, it'd be
That is
tight.
a really good one. I'm glad to see you constantly touring.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to have the opportunity to. I'll tell you, after last year, man, I really ran back towards music because it's like some shit I can control. You know what I mean?
I get you.
And put my shit out there and work with dope people and you know, get out there and fucking do it, you know?
And that's the one thing that we are blessed with. And I realize it is funny that you said like kind of run back towards music, because I took a year, kind of not intentionally to take a hiatus, but I got busy with the developing stuff and I just kind of focused on learning about it more and more. And I didn't put a single song out last year, you know?
Whoa, you didn't put a single song out last year.
I
Wow.
didn't. And then that's why now I'm like, but I realize all those opportunities and everything that I've had stems from my music, you know? So I don't want to ever lose that. You know?
and see, to me, I had hemmed everything to the potential of the TV show so much that like I thought I was okay not putting out a project last year because we put out a soundtrack for the New Negroes that had like guest stars so big on it. I thought for sure this was going to be like my project for the year, but just, you know, putting it out through the television machine.
Yeah.
It just didn't.
It didn't feel like
It didn't. It like musically, music industry wise, it just didn't happen.
right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it was a tough lesson to learn. Like because the way we did it, Comedy Central had to own everything, and so
Yeah, how does that work? Do you get percentages off the songs and stuff?
like writer percentage, like that type of
Oh,
shit.
I see.
But like they own everything.
Okay.
And so we, to get the guest stars, like we had to have them get label waivers to work on. You know, we pay them to basically buy out their services for the one song or whatever. But what that meant is like they are completely hands off. Like it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so that's Atlantic for Lizzo and Sony, Father's on Sony, and like it, you know, it's just like it went beyond. I think we thought that they were going to support it some because it was their artist and like kind of high, like a profile raising thing.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Right.
Just
They
like
treated it
zero.
more as like little video pieces almost for the show, right?
Well, who did?
Comedy Central or
Well, they tried to push it as an album too,
Oh,
but they
okay.
don't know how to do that.
Right.
And like, we had already burned it. Like once we released the video every week on YouTube when the episode came out with a press release. Like, so at the end of the day, we no longer have any assets. Like we have
Yeah.
put the album out already every week.
could something like that get pushed as like a comedy album for like a Grammy category or something like that?
I would certainly hope that it could have.
You know what I'm saying?
I was hoping.
I feel like that would be a good angle.
I was
to-
hoping that we would have got like possibly got like an Emmy nomination for music. Even,
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
But I don't think that.
They didn't really do that campaign.
I don't
for
think
it.
they worked- I
didn't
don't think they worked that angle
They
at
didn't
all.
campaign for award season, but
Yeah.
actually, it's a great idea. Really.
Like we were like, we had the capability to be nominated, and there were people who voted for us to be nominated, but we just not enough, you know what I
Right.
mean? But not and not specifically for music, which I thought would have been a good angle too, but they didn't really work that angle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, when do you head out on tour?
Friday, I don't know when's this come out.
I could put it out next week probably.
Oh, well, then-
actually, it might come out in 2 weeks.
Okay, well I'll be on the road.
You'll be on the road.
Yeah, like while y'all are hearing this, we're on the road.
There's plenty of cities. I'm sure you guys will catch it.
Yeah, we'll be
Not
somewhere
Bozeman.
near you.
Not Bozeman.
That's already that's history.
Most of my demographic comes from Bozeman.
Of course,
So,
of course,
we already fucked
giant
up.
Asian
We already
market,
fucked up.
giant
Huge Asian
yeah.
market. Yeah, there was a huge migration to Bozeman. Yo, Mike, love you, bro.
Yo, love you back, man. Good,
Open
good
mic
chat.
Eagle, always checking in with Fun with Dumb, and yeah, please check him out on the tour with Brother Ali. Right now, this will come out, and you'll see the tour dates. All the links is Mike Eagle
Yeah, if you just go to my Twitter, everything's there at Mike_Eagle on Twitter.
at Mike_Eagles. Tune in next week for another episode of Fun with Dumb. Peace.
Peace. Good shit, man. Good shit.